What's going on, everybody? I'm John Turner. Welcome back to What's the Table. Thank you so much for joining us again today, and I'm excited to tell you about one of my favorite toys or pieces of equipment. You wouldn't believe it, but it'll actually make you a better hunter. I'm going to talk a little bit about switching from normal trail cams to cell cams, and I'm going to give you my honest review of the StealthCam GX series cameras. Stick with me. All right, so I'm going to go over my likes and dislikes of this GX series camera from StealthCam. And if you know this channel, you know that we really prioritize hunting with stealth. You're going to find that animals are a heck of a lot easier to hunt if they don't know that you're there or that you've been there. So if you're walking through your property all the time, like I used to do, going to pull memory cards off of my regular trail cams, you're putting down scent. You're being more invasive, right? There's a better chance that the animals know that you've been there. Switch over to a cell cam, get the picture sent straight to your phone, and you're not being invasive. Less scent, more game. The next thing that I really love about this camera, or cell cams in general, is intel, right? You need to know what time animals are showing up, or if they're showing up at all, so you don't waste the hunt going to a bad spot. With this, we actually hunt a lot of pigs. It's great to know what their patterns are, and their patterns can shift several hours in the course of a given week. So I can plan my hunts around this because I know generally what time to show up, what time the game's gonna be there, and I don't waste a bunch of time sitting freezing cold in a tree stand because I've got better intel, up to the minute. So the first two likes, or pros, are really more about the use of cell cams in general. Specifically, this GX does what it's supposed to do. I can't really tell you there's any one particular feature that I absolutely love, but when it's on and it's working, it does what it's supposed to do. I absolutely love it. Let me tell you a little bit about the cons though. From a con perspective, battery life. This thing will eat through AA batteries as fast as you can put them in there. Now you need to keep doing this in order to keep the camera on, so it sort of nullifies the point of having a cell cam and not putting down scent on your property because you have to keep going in and changing the batteries out. You can hook up a 12-volt battery to this that's solar powered. That's a good way to get around it if you're in an area where you've got enough sun exposure for that solar power to work and recharge your battery. The second con is signal strength or range. Look at it however you want. The antenna that comes with the unit is okay if you're in an area where you've got really good cell service. We hunt in a lot of remote areas, and sometimes you're not going to get pictures out of these things. So I had to go and find an external long-range antenna. Found one, just a generic brand on Amazon. It was like 16 bucks, solved my problem. 10-foot cord, run it up the tree. Depending on how remote you actually are, that'll probably work for you too. Just an extra expense and something else that you have to go and install. Another drawback that I've experienced with this particular unit is reliability. I mentioned when it's on and it's working, it does what it's supposed to do. This thing can be a little bit finicky, I've noticed. If it loses cell service, it takes a while for it to reacquire. Somehow or another, it manages to get water in around these seals. So if I go in and turn the camera off, all of a sudden I can't turn it back on again. I had to go in and put silicone in these screw holes on the back and all around this rubber seal. Who knows, maybe it's just getting old over time. But that's been a problem before. I have to take it home and put it in a bin of rice and do that whole, like if you drop your cell phone in the lake or something like that. It will come back to life, but I've lost valuable time and valuable intel while I had this thing out of commission. When things like this happen, I found that it's difficult to get the camera back up and running. And I'm not talking about just the water situation. Sometimes I'll stop getting pictures and it's not because of signal strength and it's not because of water damage. It just stops sending. And so you have to go in and do a firmware reset, you have to flash the memory, you have to reseat your memory card, and sometimes even that doesn't work. I've even spent hours on the phone with StealthCam, and they were nice enough to help me walking through a bunch of troubleshooting steps to get this thing back online. So it can be finicky, but when it's on, it's working well. So this last one I'm going to list as both a pro and a con. It's price. Purchasing the camera, they're a little bit more, no, they're significantly more expensive than kind of your entry-level trail cams that are not cellular. They can be double or even triple the cost for an entry-level unit. This particular camera is around $150, $165 online. It's actually an older series. There are newer ones and significantly more expensive. So it's more expensive to get into, and then you have a monthly fee from a cellular data plan to send the pictures to your phone. Now the pro side of this, because it sounds like it sounds like a con. The pro side of this is that monthly plan is actually pretty cost effective. If you've made the decision to go cellular, the plans start at $6 or $8 and go up from there. Right? So it's actually pretty cost effective once you've made the decision to go this route. All right, so I know I listed more cons than I did pros. The reality is the pros actually do outweigh the cons. We found that the price and all the other things that I mentioned are actually worth it for the stealth and the intel that you get. I'm not wasting hunts, I'm not putting down sin in the woods, and we're more successful because of it. I don't have a lot of experience with other cameras and other manufacturers yet. I've actually bought a few. If you guys want to see some reviews and side-by-side comparisons, drop us a comment below. Let me know exactly which models, and we'll go out and try it. We'll give you an honest review.
Now I'll tell you a bit about the basic specifications of this GX series camera. The camera resolution is actually quite good. It can go as high as 22 megapixels. You can ratchet the resolution up or down depending on how much bandwidth you want to use when you transmit pictures to your camera, but it always captures pictures to the memory card at the maximum resolution. This is a no-glow infrared camera with a range out over 30 yards or 100 feet that you can widen or narrow depending on how much range you need to pick up. As far as a power source, break out your wallet, baby. It takes 12 AA batteries if you don't have a 12-volt external power source. And this is directly correlated to how often you upload photos. If you set it to upload instantly, every time it takes a picture, it's going to eat through those batteries a heck of a lot faster than if you upload once a day. Price of the camera is kind of up there, $150 to $200 unless you catch it on sale. Monthly plans start at $6, but it's based on your bandwidth, and they'll pop you again for another charge every time you go over. So watch the resolution of those photos when you're sending them to your phone. Now I'll show you a bit about the use of the camera and the navigation of the menu on the camera itself. And I'll be honest, this is probably my least favorite thing about this camera, but I'll show you anyway. There's a menu button here on the left. You navigate through the menu with these arrow buttons in the center. First thing you're going to want to do when you set up this camera is enter this Cell Wizard start menu. And it's annoying to me that there's not some kind of way that you can do this through the app or through your online account. You have to do it through the camera, and it's really, really clunky. For your sake, I'm going to fast forward through this part while it acquires the network, initializes the modem, and does whatever it needs to do. If you want to do this, do it on a nice Sunday afternoon where you can sit outside with a glass of tea. Just don't be in a hurry. So I told you this menu was my least favorite thing about the camera. Here's why. In a nutshell, it's setting up your account and going through the account login options with just these arrows. You have 26 different characters uppercase, 26 lowercase, and all of your special characters, numbers, and everything else. You have to scroll through every one of them. It's kind of a pain when you do your account login, which isn't case sensitive. It's a severe pain to get to the right case and the right character when you're setting up your password. It takes some time. And when I told you before that I have trouble keeping this thing online and sometimes I have to flash the memory and come back in and redo this process, it gets really, really annoying. All right, so rant over, promise not to, well, I'll try not to do that again. Photo countdown is on the left, battery on the bottom right, count of your photos on the top right. You navigate through the menu after you hit the menu button using the arrows, and you're gonna come into the menu, either the cellular settings or the camera settings themselves. And what I wanna tell you is you can get to every single option that you have here on the camera through the app. It's easier to control on your phone. There are a couple of things though that you'll want to try to do on the camera when you're on location. The first is this signal strength option. Enter the signal strength menu, hitting the enter button, and test how strong the signal is when you're in your location where the camera is going to be operating. Honestly, the rest of these options, I'd rather just control on my phone, which I can do from the woods or at home. All right, so before I show you the app itself, just a couple more things about the operation of the camera. It takes an SD memory card. 16 to 32 gigs seems to work fine for me because I can format the memory card from the app if it ever happens to get full. Slides in here on the right-hand side. The SIM card that comes when you purchase the camera slides in here on the left, and then to replace the batteries, you hit this eject button, battery tray pops out the bottom. That's pretty much it. Now we'll move into the app itself. This is what you're going to see when you open this on your phone. All your StealthCam cameras listed by name on this home menu. You can see the battery level, signal strength, any error messages from the memory card itself. Pick the camera that you want. You can see all of your sub-menu options for that camera on this next screen. You're probably going to want to go right into your uploads and check out what pictures you got through the night or since the last upload. Scroll through them up and down, then click on the picture in order to pull it up. From here, you can delete individual photos or export to social media, save to your phone, whatever you want to do. Back on the main camera sub-menu, they do give you the option to view some cool analytics to kind of look at trends, bar charts, whatever, about when you're getting more pictures. This can kind of help you, I guess, if you want to see kind of the peak times of the week, day, or night when you're getting more activity on your camera. All right, so here's one of the main things you're going to want to use this app for. I told you before you could do anything on the camera through the app. So you go into the camera setup and you can see things like time zone, time format. You can set whether you want this to capture a picture or a video. You can adjust your operating hours, which is kind of cool. Like at turkey season, you don't necessarily care what's showing up during the night. You can adjust your photo resolution and the delay you're going to get in between your pictures. This is important because if you're taking pictures constantly, you're going to use up more battery. And if you have more pictures on your camera reel, it's going to take even longer for it to upload and use more battery. You can adjust the range of the sensor, basically between a short, medium, and long range. You can adjust the number of photos that you want to take in a burst, 1, 2, whatever it is. A few more options here that I don't use quite as much, but you do have the option to format the memory card remotely should you need it. All right, let's take a look at the cell settings menu, and this is very important. Make sure your cell modem and transmit files is switched on, else you're going to be really ticked when you're not receiving pictures on your phone. Change your upload resolution, ratchet this down to use less bandwidth, less money. You can change the upload frequency to once per day, more often if you want real-time intel, but the more you upload, the more battery you're going to use and the more bandwidth you're going to use as well. Now here I'm toggling on and off the daily test photo option. You're going to want to leave this on. I always do, so that at least you know if you're not getting pictures of game on your camera, you know that the camera's functioning like it should.
That's it for us, you guys. I hope you found this video useful. We got a lot more like it. If you enjoyed it, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you next time, and God bless.